Honorable members, I rise to move that the bill entitled the Appropriation Act 2020 be an act to authorize expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for the services of CLO for 2020 be read.
Na so the Minister of Finance, Jacob Safa, been start the ball rolling Friday, November 8th for read the 43-page Appropriation Act of 2020, when a document where they talk about the couple with the Salon government plan for spend on different development program them for the year 2020. And this been happening at the well of parliament. We been full up with different stranger them, when a party supporter them, and self-minister them, and other head of parastatal them, from different department and agency them, plus the MP themselves. We get them well for listen to waiting the Minister of Finance get for say but waiting government get na the table for continue for running program them next year. With entitled when a fiscal consolidation for human capital development and job creation. The Minister of Finance, Jacob Safa, say the 2020 budget go put more strength for make salon people get sabi on how for make life better and safe. For make sure say work day for young people we according to them plenty no get work for do.
The ultimate goal is to create jobs for our youth. This budget seeks to enable the youth, who are our most valuable resource, to take their rightful place in society by equipping them with the rightful skills and empowering them with financial resources to make their dreams come true. The time for using and abusing our youth as agents of crime and other social ills is over. We must and we will increase their participation.
According to Mr. Safa, the total couple where government plan for spend for the year 2020 na 8.24 trillion loans. And the couple where government plan for collect as tax and other way for get money them when a revenue na 6.47 trillion loans.
The projected total budgetary resources for 2020 financial year processed through the Consolidated Revenue Fund will amount to 8.24 trillion, comprising domestic revenue 6.47 trillion, budget support of 1 trillion, and domestic financing 873.9 billion. The other categories of resources comprising projected loans and project grants to be disbursed by development partners to the commercial banks, and in some cases, the Bank of Salem for the financing project in various sectors are projected at 1.08 trillion.
Jacob Safa say the couple where government plan for spend for pay government workman them when at the wage bill inside 2020 go shoot up to about 3.17 trillion loans from 2.59 trillion loans inside 2019. But this na for make government able for pay lecturer them na different university them na the country and self new teacher them plus 1,000 police officer them where them plan for take inside 2020. The Minister of Finance said the couple for the education sector we get government in flagship program when at the free quality education na 1.4 trillion loans we according to them na about 22% of the country in total couple for the 2020 financial year.
Total budgetary allocation to the education sector is 1.4 trillion, representing nearly 22% of total primary expenditures. The free quality school education programs remain government flagship program. To deepen its implementation, the government is allocating 317.2 billion in the domestic capital budget to cover procurement of teaching and learning materials, school fee subsidy, school feeding program, and payment of examination fee for MPSC, Beckel and WAS. The sum of 3 billion is provided for rehabilitation and refurbishment of district technical institutes and teacher training colleges. Government counterpart contribution for the rehabilitation of Frobe College will amount to 5 billion, and the reconstruction of the near Pan campus is also 5 billion.
It carry on say the couple for tertiary education now 122 billion loans. Still inside education, the Minister of Finance say government go add the salary of teacher them by 30% and government don't add the couple for the minimum wage from 500,000 loans to 600,000 loans.
Following the improvement in the condition of service of health workers, salaries of teachers are increased by 30%. This will be effective April 2020. To improve the living conditions of low-income earners, the government is increasing minimum wage from 500,000 to 600,000 per month.
Inside the 2020 budget, the Minister of Finance say government plan for give but 348.8 billion loans to the agriculture sector. Mr. Safa say inside the agriculture sector, government plan for support the military for plant rest, for later use them for supplies to Jamandem all about the country.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Government spends large amounts of money on the purchase of imported rice for the security forces. With technical support from the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, the agricultural units of the military will be supported to cultivate 5,000 hectares of land. With expected yield of 3 metric tons per hectare, total production is estimated at 15,000 metric tons. This will partly substitute imported rice provided to the military. It is projected that in 3 years, all rice consumed by the security forces will be produced locally through this scheme.
Inside well body business, government plan for spend 674 billion yuans, which according to the Minister of Finance, na about 11% of the country in total budgets. Now the energy sector, Mr. Safa say government plan for spend 127.5 billion yuans for get strength and make sure say light in a different part them na the country. The Minister of Finance carry on for talk about more plan them for the energy sector inside the year 2020.
The impact of weak infrastructure on operating costs of business, especially farms in the manufacturing industry, cannot be overemphasized. Plans are underway for the rehabilitation of the thermal plant at the Kington Power Station. The construction of the 6-megawatt solar park at Nitin will be completed in 2020. Government is also implementing the World Bank funded energy utility reform project to rehabilitate the transmission and distribution lines in Freetown to reduce technical losses. The DFID and the African Development Bank are funding the rehabilitation and extension of the transmission and distribution network in Boa and Kanama and surrounding villages. The rehabilitation of the Dodo Hydro Dam and the DFID funded construction of 100 mini grids for rural communities in progress. The Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea regional electricity project is an advanced stage.
Although the Minister of Finance been talk about other area them, where government plan for support inside the 2020 financial year, that na the main area them where the country in 2020 budgets get for focus. But waiting some member them of parliament think about the country in 2020 budgets. Honorable Francis Amara Kaisamba, na chairman for the finance committee in parliament.
I think it's a very good budget. I will ensure so we make a very credible one. We will ensure so we tell them it has to be properly implemented as a done proposal. So once you do that, I should say it's very realistic. You know, don't give all cock and bull stories. They don't tell you the realities with it. For example, they don't tell you the reasons we create down there and how they go for solvent. Because these are things that people know, so there is no way to go for life by anybody. So like a very credible budget as far as me don't read that.
Honorable Abdulai Gbla, they represent constituency 77. He gets some concern about the 2020 budget.
When you probe into the budget better one, you can say salaries and wages. Now one of the things that we're responsible for the increment in the budget reallocation. And recently we don't see the president also create 2 other ministries. You know, we're also in a legitimate concern. That is the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Social Welfare. You know, a legitimate concern say there is going to be a corresponding increment also in the wage bill. So we this year say the government they spend more than anything we get.
Honorable Francis Bendu, a deputy leader for the C4C party in parliament. This na wetin he get for say.
I for say a premature for we do a conclusive statement, but holistically, if you look at the overview, the general presentation done by the minister, fine on the surface. So we are here to look at the detail of this presentation, and then we'll look at a lot of other things. Then we compare them with the voice of the president, where he been to do the state opening, because the budget gave for address within the president been promised. So we did try to look at that. We do comparative analysis, and then we come up with a conclusive view, whether it is 80, it is 60, it is 50, it is 40. But as it is, that the minister presented, it is maybe fine from the looks.
MP them get for start for debate the 2020 Appropriation Act proper one Tuesday, November 12, and then will later shape themselves to different small committee them inside the Committee of Supply for look inside the budget step by step for agree and disagree and self-agree for disagree on certain area them na the budgets before them will finally agree for them. Mina Abdulai Gbla, the reports.